I started homeschooling with the twins like maybe 6 months ago. The girls are 6.5. They graduated kindergarten school last May. And since that time, did grade 1, finished grade 2 reading, and they're working their way through grade 2 language arts, grade 2 math, grade 3 reading, and we're going to get into a bit of creative writing. They're big nerds, just like mom, which I'm a big fan of. They just started doing independent reading, which is super cute. They're reading to each other right now in the other room. We're actually looking at getting Kindles for them. I think granddad wants to buy them each a Kindle. Maybe we'll check to see when they go on sale. Amazon has like a kids Kindle program where it's all age appropriate books. But in the meanwhile, we have been going through the Good and the Beautiful reading list, and I really like these stories. They're really cute. We are not a Christian household in the sense of like we do talk about God and all that stuff. We sort of half went through the Bible. Their attention span isn't quite there yet. I grew up Jewish. My husband grew up Episcopal. I hope I got that right. We don't belong to a church or anything like that. And the Good and the Beautiful is technically a Christian-based curriculum. But honestly, I love it. I love how it's just open and go. I really prefer the workbook style of learning as opposed to putting them on the apps, which I dabbled in this summer. I couldn't really see what they were doing. They said they were learning, but then they'd get confused. And because they each were on their own iPad with headphones on, like I couldn't really follow. I really like learning with them. I really like teaching them. So we exclusively use the Good and the Beautiful right now to do all of our learning. Again, notebook style is my preferred method. Once they get older and as they get more into independent learning, I do think that we will probably switch over into more digital style, more independent learning. The Good and the Beautiful is really, really well rated for the younger grades. I've heard a bit of mixed reviews for the older grades, so I'm not sure we'll necessarily stick with it. But again, right now, love it. They have tests on their website, basically run you through what they should know to get to a certain level, and that will help you decide what level curriculum to buy. I think we ended up starting with the grade 1 curriculum, the grade 1B reading list, but they were just kind of taking to it quickly. So we went double time, and by Christmas, they had graduated grade 1. Grade 2, their math is a little harder for them. So I'm slowing down on that one. Honestly, I'm in no rush for them to like get through school. I just want to keep it interesting. I want them to remain curious, thoughtful, and well-mannered, and I want them to love learning most of all. I think when I was growing up, I loved learning for some time, and then I lost the flair. I had to relearn how to enjoy learning in my 30s because my teens and my 20s were spent trying to go through like med school and law school, and I hated it, and it was depressing, and it was all like getting us to exams and all this. Anyways, I'll talk about it another time, but let's get into it. They are doing the Little Hearts and Hands science modules. These are from like, I think kindergarten through to grade 2. I looked at the grade 3 science stuff. I think we're not quite there yet, maybe next year. So in the meanwhile, they finished their Sparks and Stars science, or we're almost finished, and they picked out this next one. So this is like science for Little Hearts and Hands. It's bones and stones. So this starts off with the parent guide, and you literally just like open and go. So once a week we do a unit. It's like read to the child and it'll prompt you, and then it's like give them pipe cleaners. So we do a little experiment. Story time. They do have some stories that are pre-recorded. They do have some books on their app. We also have the big book of science stories. So it'll tell you like what to read. So in the beginning, when we were first starting these science modules, obviously their reading comprehension was like a little lower level. And so I read to them. But as their reading sped up and got more advanced, I actually make them read it to me. So this is really good practice for them to read to me. So we kind of combine science and reading all in one unit. They did their grade 2 writing, and we got them the grade 3 handwriting, which is like cursive. I think it's really important to learn cursive to the extent that you can read cursive. There are people who exist in this world who write in cursive, and you have to be able to read it. And a couple months ago they couldn't. And now when I write in cursive for them, they can actually read what I'm writing. And then sometimes you see fonts that are obviously in cursive. I don't need them to actually write in cursive if they don't want. Super fun practicing their letters, but they're going to be done that book pretty soon. And so we're moving on. I saw this in the grade 3 curriculum on the Good and the Beautiful website. It's supposed to be for grades 3 to 8. So this might be too advanced for them. I don't know. We'll see. Anything that's too advanced, I just kind of set aside. Like I did buy them a history book. They're not quite there yet. I'm thinking I'll start that in the summer or the fall. So that's set aside. our shelf right now. Poetry brainstorming. Fill out the boxes. What are your thoughts? What are some rhyming words? Similes, so they have to learn what a simile is. We can describe scenes, so this is getting them to write like poetry and stories and stuff like that. I'll see if they're ready for it. If not, I will set these aside. They're just starting to do independent reading. I tried it the month prior, and they basically like sat in their chairs and they took out their books and they read independently. And I'm like, okay, tell me what happened. And they're like, I have no idea. So we weren't ready for it then. But now when I ask them, they can pretty much tell me. So we're learning like what a summary is and like what's important in a story when relaying a story, but they are independent reading. So here are the books we got. Brave Little Ruby. There's like grade 3A, grade 3B, I think. This is grade 3A. So you can see like for text size, really wholesome stories. They're all about like life lessons and they're really cute. Crooked Creek Ranch, books 1 and 2. It's a proper chapter book. I try and get them to read a chapter for every day we're doing reading, and we probably do reading like 2 to 4 days a week. Sometimes on the weekends, I bribe them by saying like, if you read a chapter, you can do an hour of quiet time on your iPads. Yeah, we get a little bit more reading in that way. All right, the girls are here now. The Great Flood, William and the Wind. William and his family were hungry when rain did not come and their crops died. How could he help them? It's all about like helping and being a good person. They got some nice pictures. I think these Prince Percy ones are going to be cute. And then the last one is Helen Keller. So there you go. What's a noun?
A person, place, or thing.
What's a verb?
An action word.
Okay, or a...
Being word.
Yes! This is a big comment we get. Everyone who homeschools is like, how are you going to socialize the children? A, they have like lots of adults around them. That's a common answer. And then you're like, well, they need kids around. But how many activities do you guys do with other kids?
A trillion.
A trillion! You do a trillion activities. We do what? What do we do Tuesdays?
Gymnastics.
What do we do Wednesdays?
Zania.
Zaniac, that's like engineering science camp. What do we do Fridays? We do 2 things. Dance and music. Saturdays? Swimming. That's right. And you got neighborhood besties here in Nashville. You got besties out in Spring Creek. These girls are being well socialized. And I just love working with them and teaching them and letting them go at their own pace. There's a cat. Okay. That's all for today, folks. You guys like this kind of video where we're like talking about homeschooling? Let me know if you want to see more of this, because we can get into it.